Okay, now I would like to show you how to set up the document for your final draft of the paper. And you might have already started typing it up, and that's fine, but just make sure that the document that you have follows this format. So, like always, we are going to start with Times New Roman, 12-point font, and then we're going to go over right here to the spacing and make it double spaced. Also, before we do anything else, I'm just going to double click right here in the header section, and I'm going to put my last name. And because the header was not in Times New Roman 12-point font, I'm going to go ahead and change that to Times New Roman 12-point font. And then I need to add a page number. And the way that we do that is going up to Insert, clicking on that, scrolling down to Header and Page Number, scrolling over to Page Number, and then this one right here is the one that we want. So now I have my page number, and that is going to change every single time I add a new page. So it'll go from 1 to 2 to 3, etc. All right, so then we need to do our MLA header. So the first thing you put is your first and your last name. And then you need to put my name as your teacher, your instructor. You need to say what class this is, or if it's not Horizon, put honors, okay? And then you need to put the due date. So you would put the number first, okay? And then you're going to hit enter once, just one time, and then center your text. And then this is where your title will go. Please do not just put title. Create an actual title that reflects the content of your particular paper. I just went ahead and created this title right here, Act Up, How Civil Disobedience Changed the Course of the AIDS Epidemic. I came up with it on the spot. I think that it does a good job reflecting the content of my paper. I want to point out a few things. I still made sure that my capitalization was consistent with the rules of capitalization that I taught you. So from here, we would hit enter and then backspace and then tab. And so once we actually start writing here, this is, okay, that's where the content will go. Make sure that you hit tab when you are creating a new paragraph, and then you never hit enter more than once. Okay, so for right now, we're going to leave this as it is, and we're going to go to our works cited page. So in order to create your works cited page, please do not hit enter, 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 enter. Hit control, enter, and it automatically creates a new page. And you see right here, I have my page number that has adapted to how many pages I currently have. So when you are creating your works cited page, this is always going to be the very last page, and we are going to center our title and say works cited, and that is going to be the title always. It's going to have the same exact formatting as the rest. You're not going to bold it. You're not going to underline it. It's going to be exactly like that. From here, I hit enter and then backspace. And then now's the time for me to go back to my research log. So I will go ahead and I will go to my first source. And right here, I will go ahead and copy this. And then I will paste it over here. And then, of course, I will make sure that the formatting is consistent. And I want to remove that highlight color. Okay. And then I will go back afterward and I will make sure that it is also double spaced, but you only hit enter one time. When I hit enter, this right here turned into a link. In order to undo that, you can just say Control Z, or you could hover over it and say remove hyperlink. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to do this for the rest of my sources. All right, I have copied and pasted all of my sources from my research log over to my Works Cited page. And then I want to make sure that, just like the rest of my paper, this is Times New Roman, 12-point font. I want to go over to the spacing and make sure it's double spaced. But also, I want to show you how to do your hanging indent. Okay, so let's just say you don't have your hanging indent when you paste everything over. When you do your hanging indent, you see up here, we have our ruler, okay? And so we're gonna hover over the left indent, and that's a little upside down triangle. And we're gonna scroll it all the way over to 0.5. And then we're gonna hover over this rectangle where it says first line indent, and we're gonna drag that back over to 0. And now we have our hanging indent. The next thing that I want to point out is that your Works Cited page needs to be in alphabetical order. So when I pasted my stuff over, it did not paste over in alphabetical order. So when you look at this, you're going to look at the first letter, obviously, but if it's a title that starts with the or a or an, you're going to omit that when you're figuring out what the alphabetical order should be. So that means that this would be what I look at if I'm looking at how to put it in alphabetical order. So as of right now, I'm looking at all of these, and Eisenman needs to be the first thing in my Works Cited page. So I'm just going to drag that up to the top. And then antiretroviral drug therapy and development needs to be the next thing. And I'm going to drag that up here. And then we have Crimp Douglas. That needs to go next. So I'm going to drag that right here. And then we have the HIV/AIDS epidemic, and then we have Ross Daniel. Okay, so now it's all in alphabetical order. Now that we have all of this in the right order, we need to talk about our annotations. So your annotations will come directly after the work that is cited. So if we look at where this is right here, my annotation is going to come directly after that, but I want it to be on a new line. If I just hit enter, my cursor is going to go all the way back to this 0 mark on the ruler, and I don't want it to do that. So instead, I'm going to hit shift and enter, and that means that it's going to be in line with this right here. And the beautiful part about all of this is that you have done all of this work already. So I'm going to go back to my research log, and right here for this source that I'm looking at, I already have a summary. So I'm just going to copy and paste this summary over here. And I'm going to make sure that it's still all in the correct formatting. So instead of 11, I'm going to turn it into 12-point font. And this is just my summary. So after I do this, I am also going to do shift enter and provide the evaluation of this source. And so I'll go over and I will scroll down, and I will copy and paste this information over right here. And that is my evaluation of the source. And again, I'm just going to make sure that it is in the right format. So right now, this is what I want you to work on. Go ahead and start doing this.